Welcome to lesson 4 of the Hebrew course, and we will look in this lesson at exercise 2, which is about nominal clauses and verbal clauses. Now, a nominal clause in Hebrew is a clause without verb, and sentences like that, clauses like that, can be very simple, consisting of 2 words. That is because in Hebrew you very often don't use the word the word is, or the verb to be, in simple sentences. So if we look at the first example, the first sentence of exercise 2, it says Elohim Tzadik Veyashar. Elohim Tzadik Veyashar. It means, word by word, God, righteous and just. The last word Veyashar is actually a combination of 2 words, namely V, which is and, then Yashar, which is just. So God, righteous and just. This we have to translate into English with God is righteous and just. So you'll find, if you have to translate from Hebrew to English, that now and again you come upon sentences where you have to add a form of the verb to be. Same thing in the next sentence, Tameh hu. It means unclean is he, or unclean is it. There's no neutral gender no neuter in Hebrew, so the pronoun hu can refer both to a man or a noun in the masculine. So he or it. Same thing with sentence 3 and 4. 3 is Aryeh Yehuda. Judah is a lion. 4 is Anochi Afar Va'efer. I am earth and dust. In 4 we have again the word v, which is and. Anochi Afar ve, or in this case Va'efer. The word meaning and, the v word, can take any vowel without changing meaning. That the different vowels that the u, that the vav has, even u, it can have a dot in it, and then we read it u. However the vav looks, it still means and actually no other words except for vav, for and, start with the letter vav in Hebrew. So that's simple. Whenever a word starts with a vav, however the vav looks, if it's u, va, ve, vo, and so on, you can be sure that that is the word and. In the next sentence, you have a participle. The sentence reads like this: Ani kore el Elohim. Ani kore el Elohim. Ani means I. Kore is then a participle meaning calling. El is a preposition meaning to, and Elohim means God. I calling to God. Again, you have to supply a form of the verb to be, so that the correct translation is I am calling to God. I am calling to God. The participle there, kore, is recognizable by the o, e, right? It has the vowel o first and then the vowel e second. And then 3 consonants. most verbs and most words in Hebrew consists of a root, as we call it, of 3 consonants. The consonants then carry sort of the basic meaning of the root, and then the vowels and consonants are added to indicate whether it's the word is used as a verb or as a noun, and which form of the verb and of the noun it is, and so on and so on. But that's what we call the root system in Hebrew, and you can read a little bit more about this root system in the manual or in the exercise book. If you scroll down a little bit and find the Hebrew verb, an overview, and you'll find then a little bit information there. Now, in sentence 6, you have the first finite verb. Finite verb means a verb that has that is inflected in gender, number, and person in Hebrew. The sentence reads like this: Moshe halach el Paro. Moses went to Pharaoh. Moshe is the Hebrew form of Moses. Halach then is a verb in the conjugation that we can call perfect. We could also call it the suffix conjugation. That's more descriptive, actually. Suffix conjugation, because it consists. I mean, the personal endings are endings, and hence suffixes. And this verb here is in the third masculine singular, indicated by the 2 A's and no ending. So all other forms will have of the perfect verb has endings. Third masculine singular does not have an ending, and hence it's the simplest form. And then often the basis of paradigms. Often paradigms will start. I mean, will start with the third masculine singular. If you read Latin and many Latin paradigms and Latin-based languages, when you inflect a verb, you'll start with the first person. I am, you are, he, she, it is, and so on. But in Hebrew, it's the other way around. You usually start with the third person and work your way down, because the third person is the most simple form, halach. 2a, you see the root there, halach. The root is he, lamed, and kaf, and you just have the 2 vowels there, ha, lach. El is a preposition to, and Paro then is Pharaoh. In the next sentence you have again a participle, Elohim omer el Moshe. God saying to Moses. God is saying to Moses. Again we supply a form of the verb to be. In verse 5 it was I, and then we say I am. Verse 5, or sort of sentence 5, I am calling. So in 7, God is saying to Moses. Note that Omer, saying, is exactly the same form as Kore, calling, right? The difference is the root. So in 7 we have the root Aleph Mem Resh, Amar, to say, whereas in 5 we have the root Kof Resh Aleph, to call. But the form is indicated by the combination of vowels o, e, cholem tzareh. And the constant vowel in this form is the cholem. If you have endings, like for instance plural endings or feminine endings and so on, the tzareh of this verb, of the participle, changes. So the good way of recognizing the participle in Hebrew is with the o in the beginning. Sentence 8 is Amar Elohim el Moshe. Said God to Moses, meaning God said to Moses. verbs often stand in the beginning of sentences in Hebrew. Again, amar in sentence 8, the first word, is a perfect third masculine singular. So amar is exactly the same form as halach in sentence 6. Second word. Halach was the perfect third masculine singular, and this and amar is the same form. Perfect masculine singular, third person. And you can see that the vowels are exactly the same, 2 A's. 9, Shalach Noach Yonah. Noah sent a dove, or sent Noah a dove, meaning Noah sent a dove. 10 is Avraham Nasa El Haran. Abraham traveled to Haran, or Abraham pitched his tent all the way to Haran. Nasa, another perfect third masculine singular. And you recognize again that the 2 vowels there, the 2 A's. 11 is Yashav Avraham ben Kadesh uven Shur. Abraham, well, sat down. It can mean sat down, or it can mean lived. Here it means lived. Abraham lived between Kadesh and between Shur. In Hebrew, they like to repeat the preposition between. We would say between Kadesh and Shur, but Hebrew says between Kadesh and between Shur. 12 is Avimelech lakach et Sarah. Abimelech took Sarah. Note the word et there, the third word et, which is not translated. Et is a meta word in a sense. It indicates that the following word is the object, a determinate object. It's not the word et is not used with objects that are not determined. It's often used with words that are determined, but not always. Abimelech sent Sarah. Took Sarah. A note on personal names. Now, in personal names in biblical Hebrew, it's often possible to trace the origin or see what it means. So, Avimelech means father is king. And when the term father is used in biblical names, it refers to Yahweh, to the God. So father is Melech. Melech means king. Took Sarah. Sarah actually means, well, princess or princess. Sar is prince, so Sarah is princess. 13 reads like this: Zachar Elohim et Noach. Zachar Elohim et Noach. Now, Zachar is again the verb in the third masculine singular. So we have a third masculine singular subject, which is Elohim, God. He Zachar, he remembered Noach, Noah. Again, we have the object marker et, simply indicating that the object is following and not to be translated. Noach is an example of 2 vowels coming after each other, Noach. I've said that almost always one consonant has 1 vowel, unless the consonant doesn't have a vowel. But a consonant does not have 2 vowels, except in rare cases. And this is the place where things can happen like that, namely in front of whenever a guttural consonant ends a word, like here. Sometimes you get an A in front of this guttural to help pronounce it. Nuach. Sentence 14 is like this: Katav David Sefer El Yoav. David sent a letter to Joab. Yoav is another name that contains the word Av, father, but here it also contains the divine name Yahweh. Yo is a short form of the divine name Yahweh and is often used like that in personal names. Yoav, father is, Yahweh is father. Yoav, father, Yahweh is father. Okay, good. So that's exercise 2. I'd like you to now, in a little while, when the video is done, read exercise 2 for yourself and translate it. You can find the help in the vocabulary there, and translate it, and then listen to the video again to see if you translated all the sentences correctly. Also, it's important that you read Hebrew to yourself or to your study mates, because reading a language out loud and being able to read a language out loud helps you really think of it as a language. And then after this exercise in the material, you'll find an overview of the Hebrew verb, which is like many of the overviews and interspersed helpful texts here are prepared by Dr. Thomas Finley. He allowed me to use them here, for which I'm really happy. So take a look at those couple of pages on the Hebrew verb, and that's it for now. Thank you.